Let's check in on foreign affairs as we do every Thursday with former Foreign Minister Alexander Downer joining us live from Adelaide. Good to talk to you again, Alexander. I've just got to ask what your initial impression was when you woke up on Wednesday morning, as I did, and looked at the front page of The Australian and saw that at this time of all times, Penny Wong was proffering a Palestinian state.
Well, the timing is absolutely appalling. It's an atrocious thing to have done because this plays straight into the hands of Hamas. They will be hearing these sort of statements from political leaders like Penny Wong and from a couple of other countries with glee. They will rejoice these sorts of comments because they will demonstrate to Hamas that it is gradually gaining the upper hand in the propaganda war. And, of course, that was its intention. When they killed all those Jews in Israel and took hundreds of people, a couple of hundred people hostage, they knew the Israelis would react. They knew how the Israelis would react. So they had planned to win a global propaganda war to put more pressure eventually on Israel. So by killing Israelis, they would start a propaganda war that they thought eventually they could win. And Penny Wong has played straight into their hands. It's a really incredibly foolish thing to have done. But, of course, Penny Wong is driven by domestic politics, trying to stop the leakage of Labor votes to the Greens in relevant seats.
It seems to me to be so wrong on so many levels. And one of them, of course, just on the practical level, surely after October the 7th, a two-state solution is further away than it has been for many a year. There is no effective Palestinian leadership. There is no, therefore, any leadership that any Israeli government could possibly negotiate with. And at the moment, it seems that Hamas is the most powerful organisation within the Palestinian communities.
Well, it's exactly right. And as Bill Clinton was pointing out the other day, he made a huge effort in the year 2000 to get the Palestinians to agree to a two-state solution, then with Yasser Arafat, and the Palestinians didn't accept it. As Clinton says, and I think this is right, any Palestinian leader who entered into negotiations with Israel for a two-state solution and accepted a two-state solution would do so at risk of losing his life. He would be assassinated. I mean, in 1947, the two-state solution was put forward by the United Nations. The result of that was that the Arab states invaded Israel. So, I mean, it's one thing to talk about a two-state solution, but it's just rhetoric. I mean, unless the Palestinians want a two-state solution, and unless they're prepared to recognise the state of Israel, then it will never happen.
I want to show you what Peter Dutton had to say today. Here he is.
We've got a Prime Minister who's trying to tell the Jewish community one thing and the Muslim community something different. The problem for the Prime Minister is that people can see that he's weak and he's walking both sides of the street, and he's now got a Foreign Minister who has damaged our international reputation. And he's got a Foreign Minister who's either freelancing or he supports what she says. But this is the most significant misstep by a Foreign Minister in our country's recent history.
Alexander Downer, is this the most significant misstep by an Australian Foreign Minister in our recent history?
I haven't trawled through all the... It's a sort of good piece of rhetoric from Peter Dutton. I mean, I can't literally answer the question. I don't know. But I would say it is a huge misstep. And obviously it was a prepared speech. It wasn't an off-the-cuff remark. She said it with the approval of Albanese. This is a government, though, by the way, which is not driven by any identifiable principle at all. This is a government which is entirely driven by domestic politics. And part of the domestic politics is stopping the hemorrhaging of Labor voters to the Greens, which is one of their preoccupations, the other obviously losing votes to the Liberals. And they have used a great ally of Australia, a great friend of Australia, Israel. They've used it to their political advantage by siding, in the end, with the enemies of Israel and the critics of Israel and granting Hamas a huge propaganda victory. It's grossly irresponsible.
Thanks for joining us, Alexander Downer. I appreciate it. Strong and clear assessment there from Australia's longest-serving Foreign Minister.